Oh, what is up, ladies and gents of YouTube? BBK Dragoon here. Today with a replay review, we're hopping on board with UEG Indignation. And let's do this. He's basically a mid CSR level player, I think around 30 is what he was saying, before the reset. And he's looking to take it to the next level. There's things that I definitely feel comfortable pointing out. He thinks his foundation is pretty solid, and I would have to agree, but his movement is the real thing I want to highlight throughout this replay. And I'll talk about that when we get to the engagements, a few housekeeping things. This series is back. I'm going to be cranking these out the best I can. It's the brand new start of a new semester. I said new twice there, but whatever. And so far I'm pretty busy, and we'll see how things play out. I will post as often as I can. But I know a lot of you are wondering if I was going to open up new submissions. I still have a lot of submissions to get through, but I am curious if you guys have any ideas in terms of achieving two goals, getting through submissions that have already been sent, or do you guys think that I should just do an open batch and you know, a few times a year reopen up the submission times and let people sort of reapply and try and get in? Does that make sense? I hope so. I haven't really figured out a good way to tackle this other than maybe starting a second replay review series with Dan the Assassinator, which we've been talking about doing, and we probably end up will. But housekeeping aside, I really want to talk about your movement, man. The first thing I really want to highlight here is the only time you pushed out, you're being very cautious and timid, whereas you have three teammates. You know, you got Uno Dos, well, that guy died, but you had two teammates over there and here. You really, if you push as a team, these two blue dudes can't do piddly squat. Oh, three, look at that. That guy got snipes. Also, there was no effort off the start to actually push for the power weapons. Not even concussive rifle was picked up. But the one time you do push out is when this guy's hologram comes here. Now, you didn't know it was a hologram, so for all you know, you just walked out into certain death, because by the time you turn around, man, he's got two shots into you at that time, and you're already done. So let's see how it plays out. You pull back, and then you pull out the assault rifle. So you're using the perk that gives you two primary weapons. The first thing I'm going to tell you is no, stop. Don't waste the slot for something like that. You don't need the assault rifle. Unless you are going for multi-teams, super flippy doodles, I think it's a really silly perk to run, especially when the BR is your bread and butter, it is your sword, it is your like ninja tool. It's what you use everywhere. So again, when you pop back out now, because you've looked at the radar and seen this, you continue to engage with the assault rifle. I guarantee you if you had your BR out by this point, you're on the second shot into this guy, about to pull into the third. He's on a carbine, so it's likely he'll miss, and you probably could have pulled a kill out of that deal. Call it micro-analyzing the situation, but I just really don't agree with running two primary weapons. It's not useful, I don't think. You don't have that kind of time, especially in higher skill level games, like when you get into the 50s, man. Like, not in the 50s, excuse me, the 40s and like high 40s and 50s. It's been a long day, I'm sorry. You don't have time to be using both those weapons. If you guys can make a case down below, like, yeah, I think I love that perk and you're an idiot, BBK, okay, well then that's totally fine. Again, I really want to point out here, if I pull up my notes, that your setup on the map is not proper. You're spending all your time timidly, and then the rest of the game will see this, on these rings. You're spending it on the streets, basically. Streets, the street living. All right, let me show you Haven. Haven operates like this. Your teammates have figured it out, by the way. You're still playing Outer Ring, man, which doesn't need to happen, and you're throwing spawns off. The center is where you want to control on this map. It can also be, sometimes bottom center takes precedence, but you want to be controlling this area. Why? Because if you are controlling the center of the map, there are only three main spawns. Mohawk, the streets, well, the two, you know, red and blue, basically, and Top Mohawk, that's it. Like, those are the only three places they'll spawn. Sometimes they'll get, like, one of those safety spawns down at the bottom of the lifts. Most of the time, they'll lift straight up and you just get a free kill. Sometimes, if you weight it incorrectly, they'll spawn back here by the snipe spawn. But it just depends on how you're playing it. If you've seen a lot of SWAT gameplay, I really want you to watch where people control. And it's usually from here to here to here. And they have three sight lines that they can look at. One, and then they just peek out. Two, and then three. That's where all the spawns are on this map, basically. You know, sometimes it does funky stuff, but you want to be over here controlling the center instead of playing the rings, the tunnels, the streets. It's so hard for me to keep, like, the call-outs in my head. I just know what I call it, you know, red street, red, blue street, blue. I don't know why I think rings, but whatever. When I'm watching it back, it's different. Now, this I like. This is where I want to see more of. I like where you're with the team. I like pushing the center, and I like, you know, the carbine. It's a pretty dirty tool, but pick up that sword. No, if you had that sword, easy. Oh, nice, but it ends up pulling out. So I do watch these replays before I do this. I wanted to get this out quickly instead of doing like 18 takes. So let's see what your ordnance choice is here. How long do you hold on to it? Okay, again, I'm going to pause it. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be on these streets, man. This is not an optimal place for you to try and control the game. Instead, you're relying basically on them to come find you, instead of you making the engagements. You need to work with your team and stop waiting for the other team. You define the other team's movement and their engagements by the way you play. So it's wandering. That's the word that comes to mind. It's sort of like not understanding where to go. So if you look right here, this is a 2v1 situation if you are pushing towards, technically 3v1 if you count the guy above you, but you guys are pushing towards the bottom center, blah, 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 blah. Enemy right there. If you and your teammate right here both engage on him, you win, like every time. You should always win. Instead, you're behind the pillar while your bro just gets sliced and he has like one shot into him. No need to do that, man. That's an easy guaranteed kill. It's just, you know, keep in mind working with your teammates. I like the pickup on the sword. That's pretty good. Let's see how this plays out. But right now, like, after you've secured all this stuff, you got the sword, you had a nice engagement, what do? You come over here, and you jump back up, and you take the center. You've got a sword, man. You can control the center. This is the smallest area on the map where you can hide. People are going to be always pushing the center, and you're going to get a lot of sword kills. Hanging out down here, like, this isn't just going to happen. Like, see, they see the sword out from a mile away. It's not going to be easy to get those kills. We're going to see how this plays out. Nice. Ends up getting the sword kill right here. Again, I want you to look at this. You are literally waiting for the enemy, hoping that they don't come in force. And it's a guy with, I think... No, the guy was down below. I thought that was the dude with hologram. But if there's two guys there, and you're all the way down the hall with a sword, you're getting ripped up. You're going to die. The other thing, too, is you've had your ordnance now for, like, a very long time. Too long. Way too long of a time. That should have been called in much earlier. If you had the sword, I would have called in speed boost. Sword speed boost, man, is unfreaking real. Let's see what you end up calling in, though. Nope, still not calling it in. The reason you want to call in your ordnance, and a lot of times what I do when I play Infinity Slayer, is I run Ordnance Priority, which actually gets you Ordnance faster. It's one of the best perks, as long as you're not playing like a super high-end tier team. It's one of the absolute best perks. In terms of team, I mean like matchmaking, not competitive. Relax. Because you get an Ordnance, you call it in as soon as you can. Why? Because as soon as you have that, you immediately start filling up your Ordnance again for yet another Ordnance, which is something that's critical, man. And with Ordnance Priority, you basically, if you're having a decent game, are going to be on Ordnance the entire time. Like, once you get your first Ordnance, you're going to be able to call in the second one while your first Ordnance is still active. As long as it's like a power weapon and maybe not like speed boost. So, Sticky Det. I think it's an okay choice depending on how you use it. I want to see if this happens. That does happen. Nice. And this guy's got Promethean vision. Don't even bother the crouch. Like, don't even try to sneak up on some guy with Promethean vision. It's kind of a waste. So these are just blown shots. Those two shots did not need to happen. Hold on to them. Be patient. The Sticky Det is not a weapon that you have to, like, just use immediately. That was pretty nice. But pick up the sword. Pick up the sword. Nope, didn't pick up the sword. Okay. So if you would have just walked, like, a few steps to the left, I would just want to see how far you were from the sword here. Yeah. 2 steps left. Pick this up. Now, you could have made the argument that by picking that up, you're automatically dead against a good shot. I would probably agree with that. But at this point, you're probably already dead unless you're going to make, like, a miracle fight here. No, didn't happen. So it might have just been the heat of the moment, but really, really keep track of that because, yeah, it's a last-ditch effort, but you grab that, you turn around, and you slap him in the face with your sword of pain and destruction. Okay, let's keep going here. Overall, I would agree your foundation's good. I think your movement, though, just you don't know where to be and, like, too timid. You're not pushing with your team. Halo is so much of, like, that team push, team pull kind of scenario where if all 3 guys go in against 3 of the other guys in a nice, proper way where one pushes, the next pushes, while the other one's pulling back, it's like this sort of beautiful dance that happens in Halo with good players where, hey, your teammates are putting 2 shots into these enemies. That is free kills. That is straight up free kills for you if you push with them. But if you're playing too timid, A, you're not helping your teammates who are putting shots into the enemies, and you're also not helping yourself, because you're not ending up getting those kills. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Again, wide, no streets. After this replay review, I don't want you to be on these streets like aimlessly ever again. If you're on the streets, have a purpose to be on the streets, but you're just sort of like, maybe I'll bump into one of them. No, if you're looking for that, go to the center, control the center. You'll end up controlling the sight lines, you'll end up controlling the sniper rifle, and it's super easy to see like where the spawns are. Let's see if you've got the skills to pay the bills. 4 kills left and the sniper rifle in hand. Okay, so real fast. When you pull that sniper rifle, play top center. Just play this top center. Why? Because they're probably going to spawn Mohawk. Oh, look! There he is at Mohawk. Look at that. Or they could be over here, or they could be over here. 3 easy to snipe lines. No. Look to your right. No, he's right behind you. Ah! This is just like some basic spawn knowledge. Haven is a really easy map to learn where the spawns are. Oh. Oh. I like the little thrust hop. Oh, and he pulls out the headshot to finish it off. I would have liked to see the snipe, but I'm not even gonna bring that up. Let's see how you finish it out. You do like the Needler, and I like that you pull out some nice super combines. So, all right. 16, KD aside, your movement would have gotten you torn apart by a good team. So I just keep that in mind if you want to like move forward to improve. All right, so to finish it off, I want to say this. Your movement will get you in a lot of trouble against higher CSR players, and that needs to be a roadblock you sort of break. You have yet to sort of figure out the tempo. Yes, you can stay alive, but staying alive is not beneficial when your teammates are dying, putting shots into enemies that you're not cleaning up for easy kills, like, you know, for your team, for yourself, and for your teammates. Don't worry about the places of inactivity. One of the things I would say like right away is set up on the map and take control of the powerful areas and choke points instead of just sort of looking for the enemy. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like to me. Secondly, I want you to work with the team more, and this might make this push-pull movement thing I'm talking about a little bit easier. If you're with your teammates, you know when they're engaging, and you're pushing alongside with them. I'm not saying suicide into things, but Halo is that momentum kind of a game, and against good players, you have to have a good teammate who's going to put 2 shots into that guy, then pull back while you push forward next to him. It's sort of the subconscious thing good Halo players know. If you ever see like players on stream getting angry like at their teammates, it's usually like, hey, I'm putting shots into these guys. Where are you guys? Clean these kills up. I feel like I'm dying for nothing. Does that make sense? So it's an unspoken rule that will probably come with time. And the last thing I want to say is stop waiting for the opponents. You define their movements and their engagements. Basically, it just means if you control the powerful chokes, they are going to come to you. You are going to manipulate their movement essentially to where you're going to engage on your terms, and they're going to have to engage on your terms. Anyway, I thank you for the replay, sir, and I hope it helped. I look forward to doing more of these guys. Leave your feedback down below, and also any ideas, if you have them, regarding what to do, replay, submissions, things. Okay, guys, have a good day, and ladies, bye.